I have received inquiries and continue to receive such inquiries regarding the upcoming elections. It seems that many people are unsure what to do and whether in fact they should vote at all. And therefore, because this is a matter of the gravest importance, seeing that it has a great impact on the present and the future of Klal Yisrael. Therefore, I find myself obligated to make the following statement. The first thing that we must understand is that this is an halachic question. Anytime we ask ourselves whether it is correct and necessary to do something, or whether it is necessary to refrain from doing something, whenever we have a question as to whether this is obligatory or whether it is permissible to do something but not necessarily an obligation, whether it is forbidden to do something, any such issue is an halachic issue. And therefore, it is only ba'alei halacha, people who have spent their lives learning in depth and delving into the Torah Ba'al Peh, the teachings of Chazal, in the Mishnah, in the Tosefta, in both Talmudim, etc. Only such people who are Ba'alei Hora'ah can make such decisions. It states in the Talmud Yerushalmi at the end of Masechet Horayot that only a Chacham who has studied the Mishnah, the Tosefta, and is a Ba'al Talmud, which means a person who knows how to get to the bottom of a question and weigh up and analyze the various aspects and the ramifications, what we call learning be'iyun. The word Talmud means to understand things deeply and understand things from their source. Only such a person, a Ba'al Talmud, can express an opinion on whether something is tahor or tameh, whether something is mutar or asur. Whereas a Ba'al Haggadah, a person who studies various areas of the Torah, a person perhaps who is very good at public speaking, someone that people say they very much enjoy hearing his drashot, but on the other hand is not Ba'al Halacha, is not someone who has spent his life understanding the inner workings of the Torah Ba'al Peh. He's not a Ba'al Hora'ah. Such a person cannot metaher and cannot metameh, nor can he matir, nor can he oser. So it states in the Talmud Yerushalmi. And therefore it is important to remind ourselves that all or just about all Ba'alei HaHorah B'Am Yisrael, both now and in previous generations, have always been of the opinion that it is an obligation, an halachic obligation to vote. Obviously, all these poskim, and we're talking about poskim from the various groups and factions and various ideologies in Am Yisrael, the Tzionim Datiim and the Haredim, all of these great Chachamim spoke about the obligation to vote and the obligation to vote for Jews who are committed to the Torah. If we speak of the Tzioni Dati, the religious nationalist, Zionist groups in Am Yisrael, we know that Harav Tzida Kook Zetzal, Hagaon Harav Shaul Yisraeli Zetzal, Hagaon Rabbi Avraham Shapira Zetzal, Hagaon Rabbi Shlomo Goren Zetzal, just to name but a few, they're all of this opinion. The same is true with regards to the Haredim. Hagaon Hazon Ish Zetzal, Hagaon Rav Eliashiv Zetzal, Hagaon Rabbi Shlomo Zalman Auerbach Zetzal. Again, to name but a few, were all of this opinion. The exceptions are very few and far between. That is, to the best of my understanding and knowledge, that is Da'at Torah. With regards to the question for whom to vote, it seems to me that there is really only one choice, and that is the list which actually represents three parties: Noam, Tzimut Datit, and Otzma Yehudit. The people in these various parties have a Heskat Kashrut. These are Jews who are committed to Torah. Both with regards to Torah B'Reshut HaYachid, in other words, things which have to do with the individual, and things that have to do with the nation, B'Reshut HaRabim or Inyanei Klal Yisrael. That is not to say that these people are perfect. None of us are perfect. Is it true that these people have made mistakes or do not understand certain things and have said and have therefore said or made certain decisions on very, very serious matters that were completely misguided and incorrect? Yes, that may well be true. In fact, it is almost certainly true. Nevertheless, that is not an argument against what we have explained, that it is necessary in order to save Jewish life in the present and the future. There is the famous and undisputed halakha that if a building collapses on Shabbat, even though it is extremely unlikely that there is any Jew in that building, and even though it is even more unlikely that any person in that building survived, if this happens on Shabbat, we do everything necessary. We mehalel Shabbat in order to possibly, even if it's a very remote possibility, to discover if any Jew is alive, even if that person will only perhaps survive a few hours if we find him. Nevertheless, we mechalel Shabbat. How much more so are we required not to be fine shmekerim, not to be purists, and decide that we don't like the regime or the system, which is of course true and correct. We do not believe, we should not believe in the current regime or in what is presented and claimed to be a democratic system and process. A, because their conception of a democratic system and process is not based on Torah, and second of all, because it is riddled through with corruption. We know this. All this is true. But when we are dealing with the miswa of pikuach nefesh, we have to take the Jew in question to the hospital. We don't start asking first what exactly are the various procedures and rules written on the wall of the hospital on some piece of paper that they work by. We first of all take the person to the hospital and try and save their life on Shabbat. We do whatever is necessary, because there is a remote possibility that by doing so we will save even one Jewish life. The same is true here, but many more times, and much more obviously so. It is possible. It's not definite, it's not guaranteed, but it is a possibility that by voting we will at the very least avert this or that disaster, one or other terrible decision and actions that result in danger to one Jew or perhaps millions of Jews. Now, next week, this generation and incoming generations. Because of this possibility, we are required to vote. This has been the opinion of all Balei Hora'ah in Am Yisrael, with very few exceptions. Very few people could be named who are known to be Balei Hora'ah who were not of this opinion. Hashem yeh be'ezrenu b'ezrat Hashem, hizku v'yames levavchem, kol ha'meyahalim l'Adonai.
Thank you, Rabbi Bar-Hayim. We would like to encourage our viewers to share these videos with friends and send in your responses. We would also like to suggest the following opportunity to our viewers. If you identify with Rabbi Bar-Hayim's message and would like to sponsor or dedicate a video interview with the rabbi in honor or memory of a loved one, if you would like to obtain Birkon Nusach Eretz Yisrael or invite the rabbi for a speaking engagement, please email us at office@machonshilo.org.